this one's yours, right?
Yes.
On the floor plan, Omar, that's yours? What's that?
Yeah.
Because, you know, I can't tell who's who. And final analysis? Okay, Nick. Anything? And this one was the first one. This is the ladies group. Johanna, right, was yours?
Mm-hmm.
Was it J-O? J-H, no, J-H-L? Is that it? Spell right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay. Well, that was a waste of time, but that's the way it goes. Eventually, you want to put these into paper space, almost all of you. You can look at them in model space for now. But you want a white background for your web page. And because the web page, you don't want a black background with colors. As a matter of fact, when we do our web page, no images are to have a black background. It's all going to be white, unless it's a 3D rendering from AutoCAD. But if you want a white background, you can always take a mask, put it underneath it, and put it in the back of it, and turn those white, and then when you do the rendering, all of a sudden, you know, you can make it a light gray, and all of a sudden now you've got this thing that looks like it's, but we don't want it black. So the presentations, the Monday we get back, on project 1, no black backgrounds, just jot that down. Everything's white, so you're gonna go to paper space and print all that out, and do the screenshots. And if you look at the past portfolios, none of them are, yes, Jocelyn,
Are we presenting them on Wix or on AutoCAD?
Wix. Everything has gotta be a white background. All right, yeah. So you just can't screenshot the black background and plunk it up there. So you have to go to paper space, or you can type in the word render. If you want to get the black background out of the render thing, what do? Take a mask, slide it underneath and make it a light gray, or gray. And then it's no longer black. let's start, we'll start with, John, start with you. So, circulation, this one probably wants to be further down. Like, why? Oops. It's paper space. This line really wants to be somewhere down here. The reason why I say that is because that's a circulation spine. You always circulate on the edge of a room, not through the middle of the room. So when you go to draw the circulation spine, so go back to Ching, early stuff from design 1, Omar, early stuff from design 1. You're walking outside the space, along the edge of the space, terminating in the space. So that's going to be the MO for this. So take that and put that there. Oops. Upper level, you're here. There is one space that goes into here, so draw that as a nub because there's a sitting space up here. This again has the same problem. It wants a the line somewhere in here. All right, because you got it in the middle of the space, composite. Now, whether or not it's go back to paper. I should really just work on it in model space. So, just move the circulation spine. One of the things about this house, every time he goes vertically, he's perpendicular to the water. You ever notice that? Every time he moves through the house, he's horizontal to the water. So those are two different patterns. So vertically he's perpendicular, here he's perpendicular, the rest of this is horizontal. Just go back and, you see where this line is right here? That's kind of where this wants to be spatially. So this wants to be here. That doesn't want to be there. All right. So that's kind of what you want to think about. Circulation is key. By the way, folks, when you're designing, the first thing you should probably solve, whether you're both in a conceptual project and in a professional project, is going to be circulation. If you don't work that out, the project will never work. So how do you get from here to there? You say so simple. That's a problem when I'm doing, for example, in residences, someone has a small house, they want to add on one room or two. They don't really have a lot of room in the existing rooms in order to get a certain hallway through there, because it chops, an already minimal room into a hallway. Now less than 80 square feet, you don't qualify for a bedroom. Becomes a big problem. So an 8 by 10, if you chop out 3 feet for a hallway in a bedroom, now you're looking at an 8 by 6.5 foot room, that's not going to work. So a lot of times when people say, I want to put an addition, a master suite addition on, I'm like, you're gonna have to kill a bedroom. Or you're gonna wind up taking a bedroom and expanding it and making that the room. Now when it comes to a bigger project like this, getting people in and out of buildings and getting them out in case of a fire and dead-end corridors and the shortest amount of egress, that's critical to everything. So the bottom line is when you go do your project, and I'm gonna be critical about this, keep in mind, I want you to know, I want it to be, the circulation to be as short and simple as possible. Do not make a complicated, convoluted, crazy circulation path that doesn't fit one of the prototypes that we took a look at in design 1. Linear, radial. Now, there's no need to put a grid here. I don't think a network is gonna really work, but you're gonna have to make these short and sweet. If you wanna pass the architecture exam, short and sweet. I had a friend of mine who kept taking the architecture design part over and over and over again, and I'm like, you know, circulation is key. If you screw that up from the get-go, you can't ever get everything else to work, and not efficiently. This is fine. Ish. Upper level, you're along here. The lower level, it's kind of split. This one, there's also a circulation spine in here. Because there's a bedroom back there, right? So draw that one in, because there's double. There's a bearing wall along here, right? You jot this down, I want you to fix them. So it's a bearing wall, so you have circulation at this bedroom, and then you also have circulation along here. This one's a little complicated. This one's a little easier. The circulation path probably is underneath the balcony here until you pop out. If, you know, but this is a general guide, is okay. Nathan, these are all fine. The lower level has that parallel, the upper one, yeah, so you hit that one right on the money. It's like, better than horseshoes and handmaids, you have to come close. So I guess, was this whole thing just done in paper space? Nick?
Oh, yeah, that's pretty space.
Okay. Double that. You could leave it this way. This one probably slides up a little more. But could leave this. Some people just have this line across here. But this one's okay. Omar, that's good, that's good. That's okay. These simplified composite ones, you don't have to really show two. You're just going to show it's basically running east-west or parallel to the water. Let's take a look at, by the way, Omar, you need a key. So one that says this color is what and this color is what. You know, so put that, I know you have them color-coded up here, but if you could actually write a little key that says it and then just put these in black. So that way when you do them, like on your web portfolio, it makes sense, you know, they're a lot clearer.
If I made the words white, what is paper space, would it turn to black?
Yeah, so if you make these white, if I go over to here, they'll show up as black here. All right. It knows to do that. But don't do, should just be a little more formal, so. Mass void. So the way this works, all this glass out here, you're on a glass fishbowl. This is all void. That's mass. So these are pretty straightforward. You may say, Sophia, but doesn't have a roof over it. It does to keep the sun off you. but at the end of the day, you definitely want to understand that if you've got all glass, it's different than being in a space with all walls and a small window. Right? Now, by the way, they don't like to put huge amounts of glass in bedrooms. So if you're doing residential design, like, why is it we don't really have a wall of glass in a bedroom? Well, there's privacy things, right? So you have to have a curtain. And then there's a furniture problem. Where do you put the furniture? Now, I'll tell you, there's another experiential thing as an architect, and one that, if you're not careful, novice architect, design the room, put the windows in without any consideration for furniture layout, and the client will be like, where the hell am I supposed to put my furniture once the thing is built? Because they're not about to rip a window out. So now next thing you know, they got a piece of furniture in front of the window. Like, where do I put my mirror and my dresser, my headboard in my king size bed? And what about the nightstands? Where do I get those in? This becomes a nightmare. Every time you do a residential project or an intimate project, think of that. Now if you're doing like an office building, you know, when you're doing an office 8x10, they'll figure it could have a wall here, but you basically have 3 walls and a door. There's enough place to put you know. And if that put the desk up close to the window, who cares? But they don't have a problem with that. But when it comes to residential stuff, it's very intimate. So one of the things I always do when I meet, and I've done hundreds of residential projects, is I'll actually draw the furniture in. I'll have the owner take a look. Do I count for all the furniture you plan on putting in this room? Because if I don't, I'm gonna look like I'm incompetent, which I hate that look. It's a bad look for me. So you wanna look like you're on top of it. Even when I do a living room, or a dining room, or a family room, I always do a furniture layout, just to give them a sense of like how they'd actually figure this out. Now that may not be the one that they pick, but you have to put the furniture in, because then you'll know whether or not the room works or not. How do you get from here to there? Just do that. You'll never get yourself in trouble. And actually, because all the furniture is on AutoCAD, just plunk in stuff. Yeah. A good friend of mine whose house burned down with the fire thing, I didn't do the construction drawings. I just did the basic layouts and the 3D modeling. And his brother was an architect in Virginia, did the construction drawings. Only because I knew this was going to be a nightmare. My friend says, he walks into the room and says, where do I put furniture in this? And I'm like, you have to ask your brother. I said, he should have coordinated that with him. He doesn't have actually a good, small room with not, you know. Yeah. Part of it is the front of the house, the window patterns tend not to reflect the functions inside the house. They tend to be much more formal and symmetrical and do a bunch of other stuff. Jocelyn, I guess you're writing all this stuff down. Yeah. That's just talking. This is important though, because if you do work for residential architect, you're going to have this problem. You want to look good. All right, so these are pretty good. Mass void, and I'm going to go down to open and closed. So, Omar, if you could, who did this one in your group? Okay, Ryan, if you do me a favor, try not to make them the shades of gray too close. I would rather they be, you know, like green and orange are diametrically opposed on the color chart. They show up better. Shades of gray, it gets to be really hard to visually, so you want the snap right away. So I am in favor of diagrams for clarity. Now, if you're doing a rendering, when I used to bring home these renderings at Harvard, all these very pastel-y stuff of landscapes, and I'm like, but that's the look that they're looking for, but they don't work well for diagrams. Diagrams, we do diagrams in black and white, those are called figure ground, and then we do diagrams in clear conceptual colors that are diametrically opposed. So when I say orange and green on the color chart are kind of opposites. Red and blue tend to be that way too. So there's a whole bunch of them. You can Google what colors have a better contrast, you know, maybe yellow and purple, who knows. But I wouldn't do yellow and orange if the yellow got too orangey and the orange got too light, you know. So these are similar to this in terms of open and closed, because this part of the house isn't closed. What's the difference between mass void and open and closed? They're very similar concepts. One can argue there is some nuanced difference, but I think conceptually for Meyer's house, not so much. But they really are. Enclosure, mass void. So this is Nick. So don't do the greens. This reads better. This reads better. These colors read better. These are kind of close in color. So just set those apart so they really pop out. All right, but these diagrams are pretty much the same. On the upper level, by the way, get rid of that and get rid of this. Because on the upper level, you don't have that. That's not there. That's a roof. That's the actual mass, so take that out altogether. Nathan, open and closed, mass and void. So yes, good, good, good. So these were pretty simple, right? I mean, open and closed, mass void. So these are pretty simple. Who did these in your group? Those are kind of the easier ones to do because open and close, mass and void. So you could say even this deck is open. This is a void under here, but you probably got a void under here too. Who did this one? Okay. Johanna in your group?
Probably that.
Okay. So this is still a void under here. It's outside void, but it's still a void. All right. This one's good. This one's all gray. What happened here? Houston? We had a problem, right? That was easy. Make sure you fix that. I don't know. You have to fix this.
Yeah.
The ramp is not. Is still a void. It's open, so it's not going to be a mass. The mass is only in here. These are fine. Let's take a look at hierarchy. The lower level, there's no hierarchical unit. This one's pretty straightforward. These are straightforward. You're missing the hierarchy in the composite. So put that in. As they show up here, it's got to be in this one. Make sure you take notes and fix those on the your presentations, because you hate to have an error in this and the wrong presentations. Then you do a portfolio for grad school and it's wrong on that. The thing with this building is it's a very famous building. So everyone knows exactly what the gig is about it. Nathan, composite, hierarchy here. Right?
Yeah.
Fix that.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Nick? So this is the dining room. Does the dining room have a 2-story vaulted ceiling? No, it's just 8 it's 8 feet, right? It's a flat little.
Oh, on the entry, yeah.
So this can come out. Take that out. This is here. Is this a hierarchical element? The ramp? Who did this in your group? No, right? Is the ramp a hierarchical? It's a long linear spine, that's it. Is it like Is that like the there? The there, the main focus, the special place is the hierarchical space. And how do we define that? It breaks the rule. And what's the rule? 8-foot ceilings. The living room is 16 feet high, or 17 feet plus the construction. So this down here, so make sure you fix these on the final. Yes.
Do we all have to use the same hierarchy for the group? Like,
Well, your diagrams are gonna be consistent throughout the group.
so yes.
Well, do you have a different hierarchy other than the living room?
We have,
Well,
wait,
like-
what?
Yeah, like if Gio's doing the deck, and he's
It's the living
Oh,
room.
no, that's the addition, that's different. These are just the analysis of the existing structure.
okay.
So, there's a difference. So, folks, this is what's existing hierarchically. It doesn't mean that's the one you want. So let's say, for example, you want to establish a new hierarchical order. So maybe you make a 2-story space, so it will compete with this. So maybe you make a 2-story space, and maybe the space is octagonal, or circular, or triangular. Now, all the rest of those spaces are orthogonal or rectilinear. You now have a different shape. So you're using a different shape with a competing height. That all of a sudden allows you then to establish a new visible hierarchy. If you go back to another square with the same height and the same size, are you gonna get a visible hierarchy? It's kind of like, now you got, which is more important, this hand or this hand? Now, I have a preference because I'm righty, but looking at me, they look exactly the same. You can't tell what's important. My wife's a lefty. She always sits on that side of me because if not, we're bumping elbows. Which is a lot of fun at times, but you know. Yeah, they did a study on lefties and righties. Righties actually live slightly longer than lefties. Because how many people are lefties in here? Not one? You smile, no? No?
My sisters are
Oh, that's okay.
No.
They have a slight, are you lefty?
No, both my grandparents are, and I'm a twin, but my uncles are also a twin, but they're lefties. I'm not a lefty.
Wow.
Monaco's ready.
I can't believe you're a twin. I have twin brothers.
She goes here too. Maybe you'll see her.
Yeah, so if she looks like you, I'll say, hi, Johanna, she'll be like,
They don't look alike.
Yeah,
No, we don't look
alike
alike.
at all.
you're not identical twins? No, my brothers were identical twins. And my grandparents couldn't tell them apart. None of the neighbors could tell them apart. In high school and elementary school, they used to switch classes. My mother paid my brother Michael to take some of Betty's exams to pass high school. Wow. I said, I think that's unethical. But my brother Michael, and there's identical twins, perfect, carbon copies. But my brother Michael is extremely smart. He's a lawyer, he's a CEO, he's worth millions, you know. And you hear them, it sounds exactly the same. But who was heavier in utero? You or your sister?
Well, we were both premature for, I think my mom still had a week before 6 months.
Ooh, that's.
So I was a pound and she was a pound and a half.
Okay, so typically the heavier twin gets more nourishment and there's a slight difference.
Yeah, she definitely
Slight
did.
difference there. Typically, intellectually, athletically, a whole bunch of ways. That it may or may not manifest itself.
But I am more like active than she is.
Okay, there
She
you go.
just has like, I don't know, bigger features than me, I'd say.
We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Very large featured twin sister. It's a good way, polite way of putting it.
Like
I-
if you saw her, you'd see she has a bigger head.
I'm not-
I am a little bit taller than her.
I'm not saying nothing. There's no one getting
She has a
involved.
lot more hair than me too.
I am not saying anything. Next thing you know, she's gonna haul off, bam, and I'm like, that really hurts. What would I say? He said, you're making fun of me. Well, Johanna said it. I'm like, that kick. Yeah, I can see. No, I'm not. I know I sidetracked. Sometimes a little humor in this whole thing. But lefties don't live quite as long because the entire world's set up for right-handed people. There's a statistical issue there, you know, but like in war, guns and everything was made for a right-handed person. That's not to say that lefties are very creative people. Bill Clinton, I think, was a lefty. There's a couple lefties out there, and they tend to be exceptional sometimes, but the world's made for right-handed people. Now, I don't want you to hold that against them. So anyone's a lefty in here?
I'm left.
You're a lefty?
Yes.
There you go. So, yeah, you're challenged. Like, you get a pair of scissors. It's a pain in the neck to cut with. You have to switch hands with scissors, because scissors are always right-handed scissors. You want to go play golf, you got to find a set of left-handed golf clubs. What a pain in the neck that is. You want to play baseball, you got to go get a left-handed mitt. You can't share a mitt with anyone. The whole thing is a killer. I know, off topic. Joe Betz is getting way off there. So, Nathan fixed that. But good question, Kayla. Did I, wait, I'm on hierarchy, right?
Mhm.
So, this is so faint, I can't really see hierarchy. All right. If you could pop these colors out, I think they'll look better. Omar? So, if you could pop these colors out. Because, like I said, they're just too pastel. They have a sophisticated look to them, but as a diagram, we want it. If you're going to do a rendering that's not photorealistic, we can use these pastel colors because it hints, but it's not. They know it's not a perfect thing because it's all sort of it's all the vibrancy is taken out of it. What do we have left? Open and closed. Add subtractive. All right. So, folks, one last thing. Subtractive pieces here. Subtractive piece here. I don't know if at this bottom level this is actually subtracted. So maybe this one right here, this piece right here may not be subtracted on the bottom. I think this goes straight across. But on this floor here, it's subtracted. And that. So that's pretty good. Your overall compositional one is good. I'll take a look at structure. You want to distinguish this as columns and girders, which is different than this, which is bearing walls. And the bearing wall probably wants to go to the end. You need a bearing wall here. And by the way, you also got to label this chart this way. Is it labeled on this? No. So, lower level, entry, upper level composite. Structure's got to go kind of all the way across here. Because if not, are they going to span a floor joist from here to here? They can't. It's too big. So draw this as a dash dot with the columns in it, because that's what it is structurally. And show it as a different color than the bearing wall. Okay. Nick? I would draw these as circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many columns are there in this project? 4. Okay. So you just threw another one in there. So put that back to the way it should be. You need a bearing wall along here. This is the bearing wall, right? So I need a bearing wall along the bottom. This should be at least 2 feet off, and you have to have 6-inch columns max. 6-inch diameter, 3-inch radius. Additive, subtractive, again, these are fine. Nathan is out of here. Nathan's got to bring some of the structure over. Nathan doesn't have additive, subtractive. He's got public, private. All right. So he'll have to figure that one out. Structure. And this structure here is also over here. So bring that across. Bring that across. Somewhere in here, there's probably something you have to figure out. Is it a header? You can dash dot your girder. That's fine. Nathan? Oh, we just covered yours. Your structure is fine, with the exception of some of these lines want to be brought over to the end. We have we have additive subtractive, you're missing that. You put function in. You could leave function because it's a really cool diagram.
Okay.
But also additive subtractive will help. What's the additive subtractive game? Myers box. Subtract that out, subtract that out, subtract. By the way, that shouldn't be there. Subtract that out, add this, add this, add this. So that's your additive subtractive diagram. Johanna? Addition, this is a subtraction, so you want to change the color of that, because it's, but this is on the first floor. So the first floor, I don't think it's subtracted down there, I don't think that cutout's there, I think it goes straight across. Because that's the kitchen, goes into the stairs. That's a subtraction, that's black, that's gonna be green. Add, add. This one comes out because it's on the upper level.
Oh, okay.
So, add. Subtract. What was the other one I was doing? Structure? Either structure along this wall, structure along here, because these are bearing walls. So when the joist comes here, what does it sit on? All right. And by the way, on this upper level, take out all these boxes. Oops. Yeah. Even here. Just fix those. Okay. By the way, folks, I heard from a couple students who applied to grad school. Everyone I've heard from that I've written letters for so far to date has gotten accepted, which is kind of nice. So they're all excited. It was right around end of February, beginning of March, they all start to hear. But that, they probably heard last week, but I'm getting these thank you letters this week. All right, that's where I want to be. Oops, I don't want that. I need to talk a little bit about adding on. I'm going to take some notes on this, because after this, we're going to, I'm going to do a quick demo.